Here we have it. The man of the hour. He's been
Hey,
he's been in show business for over 40 years. And now he got his big break from the
what
movie
happened?
Sound of Metal.
Uh,
Please welcome the Chicago Kid, Paul Raci, in the house, baby. Here we
Here I
go.
am. Took me a while.
So, Paul, is this correct? Watch this. When I say how are you, do I go like this real quick?
How are you?
Oh, okay.
Are
How
you?
are you?
How are you?
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
And you got to like bend a little bit, like, you know.
Well, just it goes forward. How? How?
Mm.
How are you? Are you? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, Paul, before we talk about Sound of Metal, man, I mean, what a film! Excellent film. I love it. You were great. You're nominated for some awards. You also won some awards. But you know what? We're going to talk about that a little later on. What
Yeah.
I want to talk about is your journey. I want to talk about
Yeah.
when you were a kid. Okay, what inspired you to say, I want to be an actor? Was it at that age, or was it just you interpreting a lot for your parents?
Well, it's a little of both. I grew up in the '50s. Okay, so I'm born in 1948. Grew up on the mean streets of Chicago, as I like to call them. That's the same streets my dad grew up on, who was deaf, totally deaf. Uh, what happened was there was no such thing as captioning for movies, or television. My parents were essentially living in a foreign country, living in America, but not having access to pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
So the earliest remembrance I have, 1956, I was 8 years old, and Elvis was on Ed Sullivan. And my mom, who lost her hearing at the age of 5, so she still remembered music. She could speak like Joe. Joe is really a combination of both my mom and my dad, but she spoke, and she also was deafened from spinal meningitis. Well, she still remembered music. She remembered Frank Sinatra when she was a teenager, all that shit. So when Elvis came out, there was a movie called Love Me Tender. Elvis Presley did this cowboy story,
Mm-hmm.
and it was playing around the corner from our house. And my mom says, "Let's go to the theater and watch Love Me Tender. I hear Elvis Presley made a movie." What I didn't know at the time was I'd have to be sitting there interpreting the whole fucking movie for my mom, right? Sitting next to her. So I'm watching the screen. This is the same theater that I would pay a quarter to get in, and we'd stay there for cartoons all day long. That's all I knew about that theater, the Vision Theater on Division Street. Well, now I'm going to see an adult themed movie. Elvis Presley's making out with a chick. There's all this adult themed stuff going on. I'm sitting there, she's sitting next to me, and I'm watching the screen, and I gotta interpret every character for her. This is what this guy said. Now he said this to her, and I'm going back and forth. And there was uh, something. Well, it was actory kind of thing. It was had to be each character. Same thing when we had Bonanza was on, or The Fugitive with David Jansen. You know, the one armed man. That
Mm-hmm.
was my dad's favorite show. I'd be sitting next to the TV interpreting Hoss, Little Joe, Paw, the Asian guy that was in the kitchen, I was doing all these different characters. There was something gratifying about it. I could see the light going on in my dad's eye. Otherwise, my dad would sit there and watch a TV like this. And
Mm-hmm.
he's making up what he thought the guys were saying.
Right.
Here, so listen to this. This is cool. Uh, like I said, the mean streets of Chicago. My dad used to go to the YMCA. You remember an insult comic from Chicago? His name was Jack E. Leonard. Are you aware of him?
No.
Okay, this is old school. Don Rickles, the precursor to Don Rickles. His name was Jack E. Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
Big, bald guy, stand-up comic who was an insult comic. Well, one day I'm watching Jackie Leonard on the Ed Sullivan Show, and my dad, he's sitting there, and we're watching, and he just liked to watch people sing. Watching the vibrato go or all the different dancing acts. But when a stand-up comic got up there, my dad would say, "Do you think that guy's funny?" I go, "Yeah, he's making me laugh, Dad. He's some of the, but the jokes weren't. I couldn't interpret them so he'd understand them because they're different cultures." Jackie Leonard comes on one day, And my dad's sitting there with a scowl on his face. He goes, what's the matter? He says, you think that guy's funny? I said, yeah, he's Jackie Leonard. He makes fun of people. He goes, I thought so. I said, what's the matter? He goes, that fucking guy, when I go to the YMCA, he used to make fun of all the deaf guys that were around the pool. He'd be making signs, all this shit. My dad hated Jackie Leonard. And here he was years later, and he asked me, what is that? He's an insult comic. He goes, I fucking knew it. So, but he used to make fun of all the deaf guys. And so from that moment on, I didn't like Jackie Leonard too much because I love Mike. Well, how do you like that shit? But little things like that. Anyway, so interpreting TV shows and that Love Me Tender thing with my mom. When we walked home from that theater that night, we were so close. We just shared something really intimate. And I got to act out all the characters in the movie. So as time goes on, I get into rock and roll and all that stuff. And I knew that I had some kind of acting or performing, some kind of thing. I knew I was going in that direction.
Well, Paul, when you do sign language, what I notice, people really put their emotions. They're in their body. You know what I mean? You just can't be doing the signs and that's it. It really has to show in your eyes what's going on. It has to really be in your body, right? Am I right about that?
Exactly. It's not just the hand. People think, oh, your hands must get tired when you're signing like that all day long. It's not this. It's this. It's your whole body. It's your face. The adjective is your face. You can say I'm happy and say I'm happy.
Right.
I'm not happy or whatever. And so you've got to show the expression. You've got to be present. And that's one thing. That's a gift that I was given by my parents or the deaf community, is being present with somebody. Again, which is what Joe is in this movie, and which is what was really a joy to see Riz Ahmed, who plays Ruben, the drummer, when he learned sign language and got on the set with these deaf people that were in this house we were acting in. He was so present with them, with his whole body. So Riz is a special kind of an actor who knew what it took to get there and to communicate with people that he'd never even communicated with before, the deaf community, people that are culturally deaf.
You know what was awesome in the film? Oh my God! I mean, all the other actors, they were really deaf actors, right? Those were deaf.
All of them, all deaf actors from Boston. Yeah,
and in your scene when you welcomed him, you said, "Look, you got to learn how to be deaf. You're gonna have to accept this. That's the bottom line, right?" Was that your point of view? Like, listen, there's nothing wrong with being deaf. You're fine.
Well, here's the evolution, if you will, of when I grew up. When I grew up in Chicago in the 50s with my parents, my dad had come home from work every day, dejected, like, oh shit, the hearing guy's got his hand in my pocket. This hearing guy's scamming me. The hearing man's got me. He's got his foot on my neck. That's all I can think of him saying. But cut to around 1990, when I moved out to LA, I noticed a different attitude among deaf people. They were saying at that time, look, I'm whole, I'm perfect, and I'm complete, just as I am. I'm not hearing impaired. Please don't call me hearing impaired. Call me what I am. I'm deaf. I can do anything you can do except one thing. I can't hear. That's it. So I saw this theater out here, Deaf West Theater, run by a deaf guy, a deaf board of directors, all deaf actors. They openly welcomed me into their place there, and I got to keep my chops up there. But I wish that my parents were alive today to see the empowerment that deaf people have given themselves. And so Darius Marder, the guy who wrote Sound of Metal, he researched the movie for about 10 or 13 years, traveling all over the country, talking to deaf people, organizations, and finding out that they themselves would say, there's nothing wrong here. We're perfect just as we are. And so Joe, who goes through hell to get where he is, alcoholic, loses his wife, loses his kid, and he says to Ruben, he says, we're not going to change this. We want to, we don't want to change this. We want to change this. We want your mind to shift. That is what the deaf community is saying today, but not so much before, because it was like foisted on them. You're broken. You're hearing impaired. You poor thing. How are you going to get by? Another thing about the movie that deaf people found refreshing was we saw Joe's sober house full of deaf addicts. And deaf people are saying to me, thank you for showing us as people who have flaws, foibles, instead of like comic relief or, oh, these sweet little deaf people, they would never harm anybody. What the, that ain't how it is.
Oh,
There
because
are
they're
deaf,
humans too, man. They
they're
go through
humans.
shit too.
They
Yeah.
make mistakes. They
Yeah.
fuck up.
Mhm.
They commit crimes. There are deaf lawyers, deaf accountants, deaf everything, A to Z, good and bad. So showing a bunch of addicts to them was refreshing,
Right.
you know, and they love that. So that's one thing that I think this movie is going to open up a conversation about what exactly these poor little deafies are about. They're about everything you're about. Everything.
Exactly. I mean, look, our heart is beeping the same way as they are, and it's like,
Same thing.
I get it, man. I totally get it that this, but we just don't see it as a guy like me. I don't really see that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, how would you? Because there's not a sign on them that says they're deaf.
right?
You know,
Exactly.
when I was a kid, people would say to me, I would say, they'd ask me about my parents. I say, well, my parents are deaf, and they'd always say they're dead. Oh, I'm sorry, they're dead. No, no, sir. I said they're deaf. They're not dead. They're
Right.
deaf. And then they would be like, oh, I got this feeling distinctly that they were afraid they were going to catch that, whatever my parents had. They didn't want to catch it. They didn't want to touch them. They didn't want to look at them. They were going to catch that thing. They got this thing, this deafness thing, or whatever it is. Or a lot of people would say, your parents are deaf. Oh, I'm sorry. And then they think and they go, so they're deaf, huh? I go, yeah, they're deaf. Well, how did you happen? Well, they fucked. What do you think happened? I mean, what do you think is going on here? Well, you mean they actually, yeah, my dad crawled on top of my, what do you want me to
Right.
paint the picture for you? But
Right.
there's that misunderstanding, or I don't know what it is, but people aren't thinking sometimes.
Well, so,
They're deaf.
you know what it is, Paul. A lot of people don't really have common sense, and people don't really understand that. You know, it's like that's just in
Well,
reality, deaf or not.
I I do understand something like that, or even wheelchair people.
Mhm.
People that are confined to a wheelchair, they're always used to looking up. Nobody comes down to their level. If you think about what it's like for them, people, they'll talk to the person pushing the wheelchair, but not to the person. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Table for two, but not except for the little guy in the wheelchair. There's certain things people don't want to deal with it because that's a scary thing.
Hmm.
As a musician, and a lot of people that I know are musicians, it's a very scary thing to watch this movie, to think that that your ears might be that fragile, that you might lose this sense that's so important to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. So your mother had a little taste of hearing, right? She
Yes.
became deaf at 5 years old, but
Yeah.
your father was he was actual deaf, right? Like he was.
He was, well, they both had a thing called spinal meningitis,
Hmm.
which is pretty common in army barracks, or people that live together in close quarters, and that my mother grew up in that kind of a situation, and my father too. My father caught spinal meningitis when he was about 6 months old. So he has no recollection of hearing at all. But my mother, she remembered.
Mm.
So the difference between the two of them was pretty striking. My father, very peaceful, very accepting. I
Hmm.
asked him one time when they were having a cochlear implant demonstration in Chicago way many years ago when I was a boy, and I asked my dad. He was sitting there, and I says, "Are you interested in getting that cochlear implant?" He goes, "No." He says, "I don't want that. He says,
Wow.
I'm happy the way I am." He
Yeah.
says, "But my mom lost it at 5. Next time you see a 5-year-old kid, or if you have one yourself, realize how almost totally formed and complete they are right there, with their hearing, with the way they talk, with their understanding of the world. When I see a 5-year-old, I always think of my mom, and that's how old she was when it was all taken away from her. So yeah, she still remembered it. She bought me my first Beatle concert ticket when I was in high school. She sent me to see the Beatles at Comiskey Park, the old Comiskey Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
She bought me my first guitar. She bought me my tickets. I went with two girls that I really wanted to make out with in high school, two of my best friends, Janine Walker and Virginia Preet. I wanted to fuck them both. But anyway, we go to this concert,
Okay.
and the Beatles, most memorable thing of my life. I get home that night, and my
Mhm.
mother's waiting for me. And we go up to my room. She sits on the edge of my bed. She says, "Tell me the whole thing. Tell me all about it. Tell me from A to Z. How was it?" I got to share with her. Oh, so emotional. How I was very emotional at the time. And my mom's got tears coming out of her eyes, watching me describe how these four guys uh, just changed my life,
Yeah.
changed everybody in my high school's life at the time, you know. But my mom, before that, when I was a really, really small boy, one really heartbreaking thing was I was sitting on her lap in a rocking chair, and she decided to sing me a song that she remembered. And she's singing the song, as a matter of fact, is "I'll get by as long as I have you." That old 30 song. She remembered that song. I'm sitting in her lap, and she starts to sing this song, "I'll get by." And she's singing this song, and I look at her, I go, "Ma, that ain't how it goes. That ain't how it goes." And the look of horror and disappointment on her face was destroyed me, because I was telling her, "Ma, you can't hear yourself. You can't sing anymore." And she just withdrew within herself, like, it's gone. I can't even sing to my son, you know.
God.
And kids are just so honest and so cruel.
Yeah.
I go, "Ma, that ain't how it goes." Like, what an asshole, But
Yeah. Yeah.
that my mother still. And anyway, when they were very, 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 very older, very much older, and retired, um, my dad was the same as he always was, happy and content. My mother, she got more bitter, more withdrawn, just bitter, 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 bitter as the years went on. So
So
that's a difference.
yeah, when you were a kid, like in high school, did you get in trouble, Paul? Be honest. Were you that guy? Were you like?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sneaking out of the house,
Mm-hmm.
smoking cigarettes when I wasn't supposed to, stealing liquor out of the cabinet. Yes, I was always in trouble. Listen, I fucked up because I went out one night in high school with my buddies, and we're doing all this stuff. There was a prairie nearby where we'd go and smoke cigarettes. Pot wasn't even invented. I mean, for us, we're, but anyway, uh, I come back a couple hours later, and I open the back door and I
Mm-hmm.
close it. And about 5 seconds later, all the lights in the house go on. Well, I wasn't counting on that. Closing that door changed the air pressure in my mom and dad's ear. They could feel that in their ears. And they got up, "Where the fuck have you been?" They're like, beating the shit out of me because I snuck out of the house. So, it's like, here I am trying to pull a fast one on them, but I didn't know that closing that door popped their eardrums, and they can't hear anything, but they could feel that something was going on.
You should
So,
have told them. You should have told them I have needs too. I want to meet Janine. I want to meet the girls. Come on now, right?
yeah, Janine. I wonder if
So,
she's still around. Go
Paul,
on.
here's my question. You actually went to the army, right? You were in Vietnam,
Navy.
Navy. Okay, so
Yeah.
you were in the Vietnam.
Yeah, I got drafted in 1969. I was 21. I was trying to hold it off as long as I could. So me and my drummer at the time went down, past the physical. And at the time, I'm freaking out because I'm thinking there's body bag counts on TV every night. And so we went right next door to where the Navy recruiter was. And he sold us a bag of manure, like, everything's great. You're going to love the Navy. Instead of 2 years, it's 4 years. So I took that deal. Ended up on an aircraft carrier. I was a hospital corpsman on the USS Coral Sea. And I did two tours of Vietnam and the Gulf of Tonkin. Nixon just bombed the shit out of Haiphong Harbor. Some of our mines are still in the harbor to this day.
Yeah.
But that was the extent of my, 4 years for the two.
So after Vietnam, is that when
Yeah.
you started crafting, getting into acting, like going to the theaters in Chicago?
Right. When I got done with that, got back, I actually dove right back into heavy metal. Uh, and I was doing that for a couple of years until I realized that I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle the lifestyle. I was going on the GI Bill to the University of Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
and I discovered the acting department. And so I went down that path. Figured I opened up the door to the theater. I could see all these actors on stage, pretending like they were a chair, and or talking to people that weren't there. I'm thinking I can do that shit. I can, I can act, and didn't know what a hard job was going to be learning. But yeah, I discovered it there. I went into it at the university level there, and then from there just went to Second City, studied with a bunch of acting teachers in Chicago. Had my own theater company there. So yeah. At the time, Steppenwolf was really hot and heavy, and I just wanted to be John Malkovich so badly because there was nobody like that motherfucker on stage. Nobody like John Malkovich, and we all wanted to be him or be like him. So we started our own theater company, trying to mirror what Steppenwolf was doing.
Well, listen, I tell people that, oh, I want to move to LA and they're from Chicago. I'm like, you got such unbelievable training in Chicago. The theaters, it's unreal there. It's like great actors come from that area.
Yeah, absolutely. We prided ourselves in realism, in stripping it down to just being, no acting allowed. That's where the bullshit starts. That's where you get yourself in trouble. So you've got to strip it down as much as you can. And that's why I'm a firm believer that stage actors can make that switch to film. But it's these guys that do TV, these pretty boys, I'm sorry to say, or whatever you want to call them, it's kind of hard for them to put their stuff onto a stage, a 99-seat theater, and learn that craft. It's a little difficult to make that switch.
You know what it is? What people don't understand is that you have 8 shows a week, okay? And every night, you gotta really, really listen to what the actor is saying to you, because your lines have to be authentic the way they say it to you. You gotta react so raw, because if there's a line that says "How are you?" and you're sad, you're not gonna be like "How are you?" You know what I'm saying? You gotta read the other actor,
and you got to play off the other guy, how he's saying it that night.
Right, exactly.
There's nothing worse than working with a guy that does everything the same way all the time.
Yeah.
And then you come up with, I want to break it up or mix it up tonight, and then you're the same guy. That's death.
Yeah.
Death.
And there's no 2 takes, 3 takes on stage, buddy. This is it. Live. Here it is.
Here we go. That's the exciting thing about theater, though.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so authentic or raw. If you can, that's why live theater is the best.
Yeah. So you moved to LA at what age?
40.
40 years old.
1989. 40 years old.
So you're auditioning. So you're auditioning. You're getting rejected, right? What was it like? Give me that experience.
Well, looking back at it now, I was just talking about it with my wife just yesterday about the journey. And when you come out here, you think you got a shot, but what you don't realize is the casting directors, these assholes out here in Hollywood, these casting directors, they say they're looking for somebody new. They're not. They're looking for somebody with a name. And I get it. I'm 40. So I guess I'm washed up in your eyes. What they're looking for is a 25-year-old. That's new. But anybody who's age 40 and above, they're not looking for you. That's been my experience. Mm-hmm. So my story has been one of being a day player all these years. I've never gotten more than a day's worth of work from these casting directors or anybody here because, maybe they can't trust an actor like me. He doesn't have enough experience or whatever. Right. But so you get one day and then you go back to doing theater so you can really do the work and get ready. But yeah, I think that there's and listen, Eddie, I moved out here with a lot of actors from Chicago that I knew. They've all moved back home. They all go back to Ohio, Seattle, back to New York, wherever they came from, because they ain't going to make it here. Me and a very few of us have stayed here. I happen to have a day job. I was an interpreter. I interpreted in the court system out here. So I was a certified interpreter. I could make a living while I got my day player crap, Right. But casting directors, all these years for me, it's been, wow, Paul is fantastic. Oh my God, he's good. But we're going to go another way, which means you're going to get a name, somebody that's been there, somebody they can trust, somebody they can put their stuff behind. But the acting itself, the guy that's got it together, I don't know if they're interested in that or not. I've been in plenty of rooms out here,
Hmm.
plenty of auditions, and then it turns into self-taping. I know how to do that crap. It's not
Hmm.
that difficult.
Right.
So even this role, when it came
Paul,
up,
hold on a minute, Paul. What I want you to do,
yeah,
don't
yeah,
go to your Facebook because I want people to listen to this on your page. Go to your Facebook right now, okay, and go to the Eddie Marder show real quick. When you see this, scroll down after Tommy Lasorda's picture. Scroll down and put share on your page. When you see this right now.
I see it live here.
Okay, but scroll down after Tommy Lasorda on my page.
Oh, on your page.
Yeah, the Eddie Marder show. Go to the Eddie Marder show.
I'm here. I
Okay,
see it.
scroll down. Not the first video you see me and you talking, but scroll down after Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
Share it.
share it on your page right now.
Share to my story.
No, not story. Share to your what page? The first one.
Yeah, share to my page. Yeah,
Yeah,
share
there
now.
you go.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, so here we go. Let me just see if you did it. So this is the question I want to know. Yeah. Okay. So you've been out here for years. The casting directors, yeah, we'll go with a different name, whatever, whatever. Right now,
A name.
a name.
Somebody who's somebody. Not you, Paul. You're nobody.
Right. But
That kind of thing.
here's the thing. What I read on you is that
Yeah.
when this film came, in the auditioning process, okay, what exactly happened? Because what I heard is that your agent was pushing for this. And she called and they said, no, we didn't see his tape.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
like,
that's
what?
exactly.
So then,
Yeah.
hold on a minute. So then all of a sudden, the director sees it,
Yeah.
Darius, right?
Yeah.
And he said, I saw an interview. He said, Paul made me cry.
Yeah.
Now imagine if your agent didn't push for you.
Well, she calls up and they go, you know what? Here we go. You know what? We're inundated with so many tapes. We got a stack of tapes, and I think we're going to go with a name on this. We're what? They're going to go with a name. All right, fine. But my agent, she says, please look at the tape. Just look at it. Okay, we'll try to find it. Well, apparently she found it, and then she showed it to Darius. And my audition tape is not that much far off from what you see in the movie. That particular scene, that scene I did, and the emotional tone is pretty much the same thing. So that's what he was looking for, obviously, because that's what we ended up doing. But had she not called, I think it might have been a different story. They probably would have. Who knows what they would have ended up with? But it's kind of hard. I don't care how talented an actor is to research everything that I've done for my life and slam that into a character. Be a little bit difficult. Riz had to study ASL for 7 months before he even got on set.
Yeah. Paul, how did it happen? Your agent called you and said, hey, I got this audition for you. This is perfect for you. This is you. Is that how it
Yeah,
happened?
it's exactly how it happened.
Okay.
Exactly.
So she told you that did you get the full script or did you get a little scene?
No, I got the full script.
You got the
So
full
she
script.
wanted me to yeah, she wanted me to read the full script. And as I read it, when I read the last page of how the movie ends, and that's how the movie ends in the original script, I just cried. I thought deaf people are going to stand up and cheer when they see this ending. As we were talking about before, we're perfect, we're whole and complete. When he does that final gesture at the end, I want to ruin the movie for anybody, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
It made me cry because that's the way deaf people are going, right on, man. That's right. You should have done that in the
Nah,
first place.
I had
But
tears.
no, and I knew when I read it, I knew that it was very, very, very close to me. And when we were filming it, I knew something special was happening. I really did. I knew it right there. It was not like, well, maybe this will be good, maybe. No, I knew.
So you only did one self tape, and Darius said you're
Yeah,
the guy.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Thank God for your agent for pushing you, because I'll tell you one thing,
Oh,
this wouldn't be your break. If she didn't
exactly.
push for
I
you.
would have, and then on top of it, uh, I found out that it wasn't it's not a big budget movie. It's a very small budget movie.
Right.
So I found out that it was paying about this much. And I found out that I probably could make more money here in LA as an interpreter than to fly across the country and do this role. So I told my agent, I ain't going to do it. Turn it down. So she goes, what? So she calls the director and says, I swear, this is stupid. I feel like an idiot. But she calls Darius and says, I'm sorry, but Paul's not feeling it. He can make more money here as an interpreter. Then the shit hit the fan. Then Darius calls me directly, and we had a talk, and we worked it out. And I was like, I'm so glad he called me because I'm thinking, look at it. Come on, this is no break. This is like being a day player here. I'm going to go to Boston from LA. I don't even want to make that plane trip, But I didn't realize that Darius, from the very beginning, had very big plans for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He would say, just in passing, this movie's going somewhere. This movie's going to have some kind of a buzz. And I'm like, whatever, I didn't listen to that. I'm just living my life. But he knew he was directly aiming at the Oscars. I didn't know that it would turn into this
So
crazy
Paul,
shit.
you actually turned it down. You said, I don't want to do it.
I said, tell him I'm not going to do it.
Oh my God. Well, listen, I can understand because you know what? You were probably thinking, I've been in this business for 40 years. What the fuck? What is
Yes,
this? Come on now.
yes,
Right? Am I
yes,
am I
yes.
portraying you well, Paul? Am I
You
feeling
got
you right?
you got to just be me in the autobiography thing you
Yeah,
just said
exactly.
because yeah,
I
I'm
gotta get
like
the long hair.
get the lawn, the wig. We'll fix you
Yeah.
up with a Kristen wig or whatever. But it's like I have had it. Now I can't tell you how many times I've come home, just like my dad. The hearing guy's got his foot on my neck. I come home. These casting directors got their foot on my face. They're killing me because they're offering me bullshit. They don't you guys know who I am? I guess not. I would get offered these stupid and I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to drive. You've been in LA.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got to drive from Burbank all the way out to Santa Monica. Come on
And then when you're
now.
going home, 5
That's the
p.m.,
worst.
forget
That's
it.
the right. That's
Yeah.
not fun. That's
No.
not fun. So, when you get to be up there like me, and now I'm in my 70s, my early 70s,
Oh,
taking that drive is just annoying.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, we got a commercial for you. What is it? I'm not. Hey, what is it? I'm like, oh fuck, what is it? I got to go out and hawk a commercial or a one liner here, or one liner there. Never. I moved out here at the age of 40 to maybe be a series regular.
But that's your
Some kind
goal.
of
You
thing.
want to be a
That's
serious
the
regular.
goal.
Yeah.
Right. Never happened. I got
Unbelievable.
a couple of shots here and there but who knows? Hey, maybe I froze. Maybe I'm the guy that I don't know. But come on.
No, listen. Thing is, you're
When
prepared. You are prepared. You craft. You hone your skill. You know your shit. It's not like, hey, I could act. No. Why do you think Darius wanted real deaf actors in this film? He didn't want no
exactly.
pretenders. No
Right. Oh
way.
yeah, exactly. No
He didn't want
posers.
that. He wrote the
Right.
script. Took him 10 to 13 years. He actually had 1,500 to 2,000 pages. Okay. He had to narrow it down. I mean, he did mega research, and he did this film for his mom too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now in the audition, what scene did you do the self tape? What scene was it?
The very last scene that I have with Ruben, when he comes to tell me that he's got the cochlear implant. The very last
Oh,
scene.
okay. So that scene. Now look, you know what I noticed about that scene? I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
That scene right there. You did it in a way. The choice you made. What did you dig? What did you remember making choices of that scene, or it just came natural to you?
Well, I knew that it wasn't going to be a scolding of any kind, or
Mm-hmm.
I knew but I was disappointed. So that scene is really that's a lot of my mom sitting right there. My mom's disappointment
Mm-hmm.
with so many things that happened in her life, and for Joe, this is a disappointment to see Ruben come and tell me the decision that he's made. So it was just at that point, the day before, we had sunny days every day of the shooting. And the day before we shot the scene, we had said goodbye to all the deaf actors in the house. Their shooting was done. They wrapped. So they were all gone. So the house was empty. It was just Riz and I. And that morning, it started to rain. It was cloudy.
So it was dreary then. That helped you out with the
Dreary.
environment.
Oh, couldn't believe it. Walking up to that house, as you see in the movie, Ruben walks up to the house and it's raining, drizzling.
Mm-hmm.
That was the feeling that there was. And it's a goodbye scene. And it was Riz and I who had a lot of good work together. Was our last scene. So we're saying goodbye to each other. And I was just feeling very melancholy about his decision.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Joe when I read the script that was so close to me was that, I grew up in Chicago as a Roman Catholic altar boy. That's my roots. And I've strayed far from that out here in LA. I've become very spiritual in the sense that, to me, instead of praying to a God that's out there, and please give me something down here on earth,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the way I learned how to pray out here. To me, as Joe says, the kingdom of God is right here. It's right there.
Yeah.
So everything that you want, relationship, money, whatever, a role in a movie, it comes from the within and springs out to the without. Not from the without to the within. It comes from within you, and then it comes out. So I thought that was so close to me that when Joe says that. Anyway, I was just feeling it, sitting there across from Mariz. I can't think of a more connected piece that I've ever done in my life. And Eddie, there were only not more than 3 takes in every scene we did in that whole movie because it was a low budget. So you don't get to do 7 takes.
Was it shot in film?
Film.
It was shot in film.
Yes.
It wasn't digital, right?
No
That's
digital.
what I noticed, yeah.
Absolute film. So we had 2 takes, maybe 3. So I look up after the first take, and there's Darius, the director, in the corner, and he's like weeping, just weeping, because he was feeling, I thought, God, it just feels so right. This feels so, I know this is right. And then when we switched it around to do Riz's takes, it just got better and better. So I think Riz and I and Darius had already done enough fleshing out of these characters that by the time it came to shoot that last scene, we knew where we were going. We absolutely knew. And like I said, Eddie, that feeling tone of that last scene, that's what my audition piece is like. Very low, very, very low key, very hurt, very understanding and accepting. But he breaks my heart. He literally breaks my heart.
Was it a feel for you too that, like, how can you turn your back on us? We're here to help you. You wanted him to stay, and he just left. And you said you got to go. But when he went, Joe, this is what makes a great actor, okay? Is at the end, it wasn't like, all right, fuck off, goodbye. No. You felt a lot of pain for dismissing him. It shows at the end that you were like, why did I do
it's for
that? Without saying anything, I could see your eyes like, why did I do that? But I'm doing it. Right? Is that the feel?
That's exactly the feel. But the ironic thing about that thing, there's always a conflict. That conflict within me is I had to say goodbye to him. But, as he says, we need to be reminded every day of why we're here. And all these kids, that's what I can't even say that line without getting verklempt in the movie. Because all these kids, I can't let them see you this way.
Yeah.
I can't let them. There's too many others to consider around here. And this is, unfortunately, an addict's behavior. You went and got the quick fix. That's just, I'm going to put a Band-Aid over this, and he's got a lot more journey to do. There's so much going on with Joe right there, but you're right. God, There's even that I even want to run out of the house and go get them. But you know what
It's
I mean? Like
it's as if you're
it's
telling your daughter, "That's it. I'm not your dad anymore. You are not my daughter anymore. Goodbye." But it really
he's
hurts
definitely
you.
hurt. Yeah, he's definitely my son at that point. Well, the scene before that, when I say, "Look, I'm thinking about the future. I love you. You belong here." You know. But yeah, that scene does hurt.
You know,
God.
yeah, that scene, and you know what? That scene is what's gonna, how many awards you won already? Come on, you could brag about it.
Well,
You deserve it.
all right. Well, I've been nominated at this point. The council it changed every day. I've been nominated 21 times for different things across the country. I've won 18 of them.
You won 18.
18.
Holy sh-
Runner up in two. Runner up in two. But I'll take that. But yeah, I mean, it's an incredible run. I can't quite get my. It's overwhelming, and I'm humbled by it. Yeah, I can't believe the validation after all this time. It's kind of hard to. Is this really me? Is this really happening? But 21 and 18 wins. I look down at the other guys that are all in this race. This Oscar race. Wow,
Let
that's
me
a
tell you
lot. That's
right now.
it's dominant.
You will be nominated for an Oscar. You know that, right? You and I'm gonna
I,
say,
I,
listen, even if you're not, but I'm telling you right now, my gut, you will be nominated for an Oscar without a doubt for supporting. Okay, I'm gonna give
yeah,
you that,
yeah.
and don't
Thank
be
you, sir.
surprised if you win, and I'll tell you why. There's these movies when they have a a role model, a guy to motivate them in life. Like let's for instance say, $1 Million Baby, right? You had
Yeah,
Morgan Freeman helping out Hilary Swank to becoming a boxer, right? She had nothing. You have in that film Moonlight, I can't say his first name, Ali, helping that young kid. He won an Oscar, right?
yeah,
So,
yep, yep.
guess what? You were helping Riz's character out, which is Ruben, and
Right, right.
I think you're getting that crown, my man. I'm just telling you right now, you're getting that crown.
Well, from your lips to God's ears,
It,
hopefully. I mean, yeah, people are talking like that. I'm afraid to jinx it, or I don't know what's going on. But it's been a long drought, my friend. It's been a long drought.
Well,
So
no, I just
I'll
want
take it.
you tell these young actors, if actors bitch, oh, I'm getting rejected, this and that. Okay, I get it. But like you
Hmm.
said earlier, a lot of those actors that came to LA from Chicago all went back home except you.
Me and a few select others. Yeah, yeah. And listen, it's hard out here. If you want to do that acting, you get rejected a lot. And if you don't have your day job or something to sustain you, you're not sitting here out at the pool with the phone, waiting for your
Right,
phone to ring.
right.
That ain't happening. You better get out there and figure out how you're going to pay your rent.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a car, make your car payment. Oh, you got to. That's number one. Uh, and if you can't do that, then at some point you make that decision. I got to go back and live where I can afford it because it's expensive to live here.
Yeah.
So go back to Ohio, Texas. So like I said, Seattle. I have a lot of friends that have had to go back. Boy, if I went back to Chicago, it's not cheap in Chicago right now. It's pretty expensive. So I'd have to find something like, bumfuck Egypt or somewhere to go find
Right.
a house. But yeah, no, it's difficult. You got to have a tough skin,
Yeah.
and you've got to be able to pick yourself up. Like I said many times, I'm like, I'm not going to go on this thing. And then my agent shows me a side. Oh, okay. Then you all of a sudden you're back into it, doing the work, doing your craft, marking up, beating up your script. Like you were taught long ago from your mentors and all this. Getting back into the craft of acting, which I must admit, I love it so much that it would hurt me to actually move back somewhere. And I probably end up doing community theater somewhere. I
Yeah.
got to do Mousetrap, something like that.
Well, Paul, here's my question now. 18 nominations, 21 nominations, 18 wins, right?
18 wins. Yeah.
18 wins. Man, you're on fire
It's,
right now.
it's like the Yankees when they had their good years.
Well, of course. Yeah, we're struggling a little bit because, our thing about the Yankees, our cities, that if you don't win the whole thing, guess what? You're a failure.
You're a bum.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not like the Cardinals. Oh, you made October for a little bit. It's okay. No, you know
yeah,
what I mean.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, that's
and
funny.
since now speaking of, I always said that in Chicago, it's a tough city, especially baseball. I mean, Wrigley
Mm.
Field, Cubs, Chicago White Sox.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't be a both fan, right? But I'm going to call you out
No.
on this, all right? Because I'm going
Yeah.
to witness
Go ahead.
something right here, all right? I'm going to call you out. What is this
No.
right here? All right? Oh, no, no. You're not wearing a Cubs thing. No. This one right here.
Oh.
What is that?
Oh.
Okay?
Oh,
So,
that's me being a dope. No,
okay.
that's my wife, my beautiful
Okay.
wife, and we're at Dodger Stadium, and the Cubs are playing Los Angeles. So rather than be a Dodger fan for the day when Chicago's in town, and you know what? The thing is, if you go to Dodger Stadium, there's all kind of Chicago actors there, you know. So I decided to be a Cub fan for one day, just for my brothers and for other Chicago guys. But I am in no way a Cub fan. I'm a big Ernie Banks fan, Ron Santo, all those guys. However, I am a White Sox diehard fan, diehard. So that's really an anomaly. There he is.
Oh, there it
That's
is.
me and my deaf buddy John. We're at Anaheim Stadium. We get together every year, and when the Sox and the Angels play each other, so we go every year.
So
Make
you love your
our
baseball, huh? You're a huge sports
I
fan?
do. I love it. Yeah, the White Sox. Yeah,
Wow. Well, you guys been struggling the past, what, how many years? '05 is the last
yeah.
one?
Not this year. You wait. Not this year.
I know.
This is
Yeah, but
this
how'd
is
you
our
guys get
year.
eliminated that first round last year? Come on now. You guys were like,
Stupidity. Yeah.
you guys
Well,
was,
that's why I know. I know. It's weird. Little mistake. So that's why we got a new manager now. Oi,
who's
our
the
new
new manager?
manager,
Who's the new skipper?
Tony La Russa.
Oh, he's the manager
Yeah, yeah.
now? Oh, shit. Oh,
He's
shit.
older than me.
Well,
He's well. What's funny is after he becomes a manager, because the owner wanted to make his old buddy the manager. Now he's the manager, and then they find out he just got a DUI the week before. So there's an icon going around of the new manager with speeding
oh,
down his car drunk. Anyway, Tony La Russa is our new manager.
wow.
He's managing a bunch of young bucks. I don't know. There's something about it that I find a little crazy, but it's going to be the old man and the young bucks.
Did you like Ozzie Guillen? His
I
attitude?
loved him.
Yeah?
Loved him. Oh yeah, he's a great player. A lot of fire. He reminded me a lot of Louis Aparicio. Hey,
Okay, so here's the part right here. Listen to this shit, okay? This is the funny part, all right? Where is she? Cooke, right? So this is the best part. In the scene, you give her the dog
yeah,
because her name is Lou. Her character's name is Lou, right? And then
yeah,
you tell her, "Oh, you know about Lou, this and that, right?" I don't know his last name, right? And
yeah,
she's like
yeah.
looking at you like she's agreeing. Oh, okay. Like who the fuck is that? Tell me that's
Hilarious. Well,
was that
there's a lot of it.
improvised?
Yeah, it's all improvised. Yeah,
Okay,
Darius just wanted me to. So he lets me improvise. Her name is Lou, and
mm,
the dog's name is Louie. You know,
right.
so I'm thinking, this is fucked up. Maybe I shouldn't do. But we're just going. You know. So I
Mhm.
go, all right. So I go, I got it. So I said, hey, Lou, meet Louie. I named him after Louis Aparicio from the '59 White Sox, and she's a Brit in real life. She's like looking at me like, what does that mean? And
I saw
okay,
that
old
look.
man. Okay, old man. You know how kids look at you. So I give her the dog. If you want to be best friends with him, give one of these doggy treats or whatever. But
Right.
that's all improv. But she had no idea who the hell I'm talking about, who Louis Aparicio. But the best part is my buddies from Chicago are texting me when the movie came out, messaging me. Nice shout out to Louis Aparicio. Oh my God, I can't believe you brought him up and all that. But that's so real to my character. I love Little Louie and Nellie Fox from the Chicago White Sox '59 when they won the pennant. I'll never forget it. When you're a little boy, your team wins the pennant and the World Series, even, you never forget that stuff.
Yeah. And in the American League, who was your rivalry? The White Sox. That I don't even know.
Cleveland Indians,
Cleveland Indians, because I know the Cubs is the Cardinals. I know that.
Cubs and Cardinals. Yeah, well, the biggest one for us is when the Yankees come to town. There's no doubt about that. When the Yankees come to town, it's a big deal. Okay, but Cleveland and I and us and I own the when Cleveland comes, that's a big deal. Listen, when you remember who Herb Score was?
Nah.
Herb Score was a fastball pitcher from Cleveland who got hit in the eye with a Gil McDougall hit a line drive and hit him in the face, and he never got his fastball back again. But when he was with the White Sox in 1960, we got him, and he was going to make a comeback game against the New York Yankees. And my dad was a big Yankee fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he took me there to White Sox Park, Comiskey Park, the old park. And he had to hold me up because it was so crowded that day. And the Yankees, here's Herb Score. He never had his stuff again. You know, he was a fastball pitcher. He gets on a mound, and the Yankees knocked him out of there in the first inning. I was so depressed. My dad felt kind of bad because he was going for the underdog a little bit against his own Yankees. So when Herb Score didn't make it, yeah, we just wanted to go for the underdog. But anyway, I've had so many good things, good memories of baseball in that city, and my dad being a Yankee fan and just laughing at my White Sox every time those Yankees would win it. Those 60s, those are the years, and they were always in there, just winning.
So
We were always like second place.
watched Mickey Mantle play, right? Like
yeah.
yeah.
I saw Mickey Mantle. Absolutely. Saw him play.
Shit.
Yeah.
What was that like?
And well, he was just a god because everybody just thought he was a god, number 7. Mm-hmm. And I was born on the 7th of April, so I took that number. I love number 7. It's Mickey Mantle's number. But what really used to make this live for me is my father's stories of Babe Ruth. My father saw Babe Ruth play. My father would talk about Babe Ruth all the time, and he would compare these pussies that are playing today with Babe Ruth, who he consistently hit so many home runs year after year. Big fat guy, you know, eating and drinking and doing carousing, whatever he did. My dad was a big fan of Babe Ruth. So I had this romantic notion of Babe Ruth, and plus the William Bendix movie of the Babe Ruth story. Mm-hmm. I used to watch that over and over and over again because he was a big champion of orphans. Yeah. And at the end, he gets cancer. And I'm a little boy, and I'm sniveling and crying because Babe Ruth is going to die. I interpreted that movie for my dad, too, because that thing wasn't closed caption.
Did he
when it was on television.
Did he tell you about Lou Gehrig, too, and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My dad was another guy. I think I got that streak of evil or devilishness from my dad. My dad would jump freight trains with his deaf buddies, end up in another city, come back. His parents didn't give a shit. So he'd be traveling all over the place, you know, being a bum on the streets, going to the YMCA and having Jackie Litter make fun of him.
Holy shit. How many days did you work on set with Sound of Metal?
I was there for 3 weeks.
3 weeks, and you banged that out, huh?
Yeah, we banged it out 3 weeks.
And it was in Boston?
We actually filmed in a place called Ipswich outside of Boston. It's like a suburb where there's this huge rolling farm. I mean, that place, that house is for real. It's a big farm. Mm-hmm. And the stuff that's on the cutting room floor is beautiful. I mean, there's so much more to that middle of the movie because we actually would pick our own vegetables, pick our own fruit in a pickup truck from the farm, come back to the farm, cook it all. So there's so much more that house entailed. But, you know, a movie's a movie, and you got to edit something out of there, you know.
You know what I love, too, about this actress, Lauren Ridloff, I think her name is?
Yeah, beautiful.
Such a sweetheart. And she's actually
the best. Yeah.
She won a Tony. She won a Tony on Broadway. Yes,
she's a very talented, intuitive, wonderful actor. I don't know anybody better than her, but there's so many deaf actors that I know that are very, very good. She's one of them. Very top of her game.
The way she was looking at the kids, like typical teacher. The way she was teaching Ruben, how to introduce yourself. And then when there was a kid, she reprimanded the kid in a sweet way. I love that about her. You know what I mean? There's that.
Well, she was a teacher for many years. And the funny thing about people that want Hollywood endings, because of this town that I'm in, as opposed to European movies, this Sound of Metal has a very European feel and a European ending. Because a lot of people say, well, like my mother-in-law, she goes, at the end of the movie, she goes, that's it? That's how it ends? Yeah. Doesn't he go back to the place and get together with Lauren Ridloff? I mean, let's have a happy ending here. But that ain't how it happens. That's not,
Uh,
life doesn't end up with a nice little tidy bow on it,
yeah, exactly.
So that ending, it's for you to figure out. And I
Well,
think it's
I
perfect.
mean, you know, you could see it in Riz's eyes. Oh my God! Like, when I saw the beginning, it's like I remember in acting school, they said, Eddie, make believe you're gonna be blind. They blindfolded me. They're like, you're not gonna watch any more Yankee games. You can't see them. You're
Yeah.
gonna have somebody pick you up.
Yeah.
Someone has to pick you up every day. You're gonna have to rely on somebody. You can't see anymore. I swear,
Right.
Paul, my optic nerves were like in tears. And that's when it showed my vulnerability that there is a soft side. Because it's really hard to do in acting. And what he did, Briz, oh my God, in his eyes you could see. And then the most impressive thing, what Darius did with the editing and all that, it took him 23 weeks to do the audio.
Right. Right. More
So
than it took the film to do the
yeah.
filming.
So, like,
Right.
you say to yourself, you really feel Riz, you're living vicariously through him that, listen, this is it. This is how life is. And, with the audio on and off sometimes, that was perfect, man. Perfect.
That's his intention. Darius's intention is for you to be in the seat of the protagonist,
Yeah.
of Ruben, and so you hear what he hears, you see what he sees, and that's very effective, I think, in this film.
Very, very. I'm telling you right now, that editing with the audio and everything, nailed it, man. Nailed it.
Hmm.
Everyone
Yeah.
nailed it. Everyone was authentic. I was looking at the background actors as far as just a little bit. They were all listening. They were in it. There was no, oh man, why is his reaction like this? That's not truthful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, everybody was in it.
So you guys did a great job. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna win an Oscar, my man. You're gonna win it.
Every time you say that,
I don't care.
all right,
You're
man.
winning it. You are
I
winning it.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I'm
Okay,
taking a
look.
run. I'm going to take a run as fast as I can before they stop me. Get out of
But
that
okay, so
building.
now I'm sure right now there's a lot of people, a lot of offers right now. Are they asking you to audition, series regular stuff, any other films? What's going on now?
I'm in the middle of turning shit down.
Oh, shit. Oh, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. How many scripts are you getting a day right now? I want to hear this. Your agent's emailing you a whole bunch of scripts now?
A few, but nothing that I really want to do. ABC, CBS is calling. Is he available? Yeah, he's available. But what do you got? I mean, it's good. A couple of scripts here and there. Haven't seen anything that I'm interested in yet. I'm really grateful to Amazon. Amazon is being so amazing to me. They're very, very supportive. And so I kind of like Amazon. I want to stick with them for a little bit. But as far as any other roles going, we're still looking. Nobody's doing anything right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know if anybody's told you, but right now it's kind of everything shut down. I wish to God that the rock and roll bars weren't hurting as bad as they are, but they are. I'm trying to get my band. I'm rehearsing with my band twice a week, trying to keep it together. But I'm not taking any jobs right now. I'm waiting to see what's happening next.
Wow.
So hey, I want to be real with you. This morning I was in court doing my sign language gig in court. I was in a courtroom doing my interpreting gig because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not acting right now. I'm waiting for what's going to be next.
So it's completely dead? Because I know in New York they're filming like maybe 5 shows. That's about it.
That's same thing here. There's very, very few things going on.
And in New York, you
Yeah.
can't be on location. You have to be inside a studio. You can't be like
Right.
to on Broadway and filming. No, you got to be
No,
in
no,
the
no.
studio.
It's very controlled. I did a music video a few weeks back, and it was very, very controlled. Had to get tested before I went in, and it's very, very limited.
I wish there wasn't a pandemic for you because you probably wouldn't be talking to me right now, man. You'd be so busy.
Well, they had a 3-month premiere ready to roll. I was going to go to London, New York, wherever the hell else they had. They had all this stuff planned out, but it's all here. I am. I'm doing Eddie Mata's show. That's it.
Thank you, man. I love that. The Eddie Marder show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, listen, Paul, it's been great talking to you, man. Your
Oh,
story,
the same here, man.
It's so inspiring. But don't go anywhere. I'm gonna shut it off live. But I just want to talk to you real quick. All right.
Yeah.
So, Paul Raci, Sound of Metal. If you
Yeah.
didn't watch the film yet, then you don't have a pulse. Because I'll tell you right now, I will guarantee you this film is so good. If you don't like it, I'll reimburse your Amazon Prime subscription every month.
Exactly.
That's how good the film is, all right? All right.
That's right.
We'll talk later, but don't go anywhere, Paul.
All right, brother. Hey, this is Paul Raci. Sound of Metal. You better subscribe to my brother Eddie Marder's show. He's the man. He's for real. You're going to love it. Subscribe now.
Bam. Okay. We'll take that.